Sadanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jayo Radha Krishna Chandra, Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe.
Radha Krishna Chandra, Radha Krishna Chandra Radhe.
Jayo Nitai Gauranga, Jayo Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jayo Nitai Gauranga.
Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga.
Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhu.
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस अबाय चरण भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 15th chapter, text number 48. नात्यन्तिकं विगण्यन्ति अपि ते प्रसादम् किम् अन्यद् अर्पितभयं ब्रुव उन्नयस्ते ये अङ्गत्वदङ्घ्रिशरणः भवतः कथाया कीर्तन्यतीर्था यशसः कुशलरसाज्ञा नात्यन्तिकः विगणन्त्यपि ते प्रसादम् किम् अन्यद् अर्पितभयं ब्रुव उन्नयस्ते ये अङ्गत्वदङ्घ्रिशरणः भवतः कथाया कीर्तन्यतीर्थयशसः कुशलरसाज्ञः नात्यन्तिकं विगणयत्यपि ते प्रसादम् किं वन्यद् अर्पितभयं ब्रुव उन्नयेस्ते ये अङ्गत्वदङ्घ्रिशरणः भवतः कथाया कीर्तन्यतीर्थयशसः कुशलरसाज्ञा. Word to word meaning: na, not. Atyantikam, liberation. Viganayanti, care for. Api, even. Te, those. Prasadam, benedictions. Kim, you. What to speak. Anyat, other material happinesses. Arpita, given. Bhayam, fearfulness. Bhruvoho, of the eyebrows. Unnayaha, by the rising. Te, your. Ye, those devotees. Anga, O Supreme Personality of Godhead. Tvad, your. Angre, lotus feet. Sharanaha, who have taken shelter, bhavataha, your, katayaha, narrations, kirtanya, worth chanting, tirtha, pure, yashasaha, glories, kushalaha, very expert, rasajnaha, knowers of the mellows or humors. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation: persons who are very expert and most intelligent in understanding things as they are engage in hearing narrations of the auspicious activities and pastimes of the Lord, which are worth chanting and worth hearing. Such persons do not care even for the highest material benediction, namely liberation, to say nothing of other less important benedictions like the material happiness of the heavenly kingdom. Please repeat the translation. Persons who are very expert and most intelligent in understanding things as they are engage in hearing narrations of the auspicious activities and pastimes of the Lord, which are worth chanting and worth hearing. Such persons do not care even for the highest material benediction, namely liberation, to say nothing of other less important benedictions like the material happiness of the heavenly kingdom. Purport: the transcendental bliss enjoyed by the devotees of the Lord is completely different from material happiness enjoyed by less intelligent persons. The less intelligent persons in the material world are engaged by the four principles of benediction called dharma, artha, kama and moksha. Generally, they prefer to take to religious life to achieve some material benediction, the purpose of which is to satisfy the senses. When by that process they become confused or frustrated in fulfilling the maximum amount of sense enjoyment, they try to become one with the Supreme, which is, according to their conception, mukti or liberation. There are 5 kinds of liberation, the least important of which is called sayujya, to become one with the Supreme. Devotees don't care for such liberation because they are actually intelligent, nor are they inclined to accept any of the 4 kinds of liberation, namely to live on the same planet as the Lord, to live with Him side by side as an associate, to have the same opulence and to attain the same bodily features. They are concerned only with glorifying the Supreme Lord and His auspicious activities. Pure devotional service is Shravanam Kirtanam. Pure devotees who take transcendental pleasure in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord do not care for any kind of liberation. Even if they are offered the 5 liberations, they refuse to accept them as stated in the Bhagavatam in the 3rd canto. Materialistic persons aspire for the sense enjoyment of the heavenly pleasure in the heavenly kingdom, but devotees reject such material pleasure at once. The devotee does not even care for the post of Indra. A devotee knows that any pleasurable material position is subject to be annihilated at a certain point. Even if one reaches the post of Indra, Chandra or any other demigod, he must be dissolved at a certain stage. A devotee is never interested in such temporary pleasure. From Vedic scriptures it is understood that sometimes even Brahma and Indra fall down, but a devotee in the transcendental abode of the Lord never falls. This transcendental stage of life in which one feels transcendental pleasure in hearing the Lord's pastimes is also recommended by Lord Chaitanya. When Lord Chaitanya was talking with Ramananda Raya, there were varieties of suggestions offered by Ramananda regarding regarding spiritual realization. But Lord Chaitanya is rejected all but one, that one should hear the glories of the Lord in association with pure devotees. That is acceptable for everyone, especially in this age. One should engage himself in hearing from pure devotees about the activities of the Lord. That is considered the supreme benediction for mankind. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirhandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. नात्यंतिकम विगणयन्त्यपि ते प्रसादम किम अन्यद अर्पित भयम ब्रुवहुन्न येस्ते ये अंगत्वदंग्रि शरण भवतप कथाया कीर्तन्यतीर्थ यशसः कुशल कृसज्ञा. Persons who are very expert and most intelligent in understanding things as they are engage in hearing narrations of the auspicious activities and pastimes of the Lord, which are worth chanting and worth hearing. Such persons do not care even for highest material benediction, namely liberation, to say nothing of other less important benedictions like the material happiness of the heavenly kingdom. So you can see Bhagavatam sometimes is very cyclical. Cyclical means what? In a cycle, linear, when you say linear distance means when you are traveling, you don't, once you cross a certain position, you don't come back to that position. Whereas when you are traveling cyclically, the wheel of the cycle, the wheel constantly is repeating the same, it is touching the same area again and again. When you are going in linear, you don't touch the same spot. So Bhagavatam is cyclical. What does it mean by Bhagavatam is cyclical? Because, see, here it is being said that persons who are very expert, who are in understanding things as they are, engage in hearing narrations of the auspicious activities and pastimes of the Lord. So they are saying that intelligent persons engage in hearing the narrations of the Supreme Lord. This has been told many times. Right? So why is Bhagavatam repeating it? Many times Bhagavatam has repeatedly told that hearing the narrations of the Supreme Lord, the importance of the narrations, the relevance of hearing Krishna Katha, all these things it has been told. Basically, you should understand the spirit of Bhagavatam to understand Bhagavatam. ultimately the Bhagavatam's goal, lakshya, is to purify the contaminated consciousness of the living entity and enable the living entity to achieve a state of unalloyed devotional service. Right? To make a devotee achieve unalloyed devotional service. Unalloyed means what? Unalloyed means without any contaminations. Pure gold. Pure gold, mixed gold. There's a difference. Right? We say 18 karat gold, 24 karat gold. Why? Why we use that statement? Because as the carats increase, the purity of the gold increases. Similarly, in our devotional life, we have to also develop unalloyed devotional service. Living entity by nature is forgetful of Krishna. That is the nature. So, Bhagavatam recognizes this weakness of living entities. Even though you have heard that Krishna Katha is so important, like for example with respect to Krishna Katha, even though we have heard many times that Krishna Katha is the most powerful engagement that a living entity can do, he has to do. But after a certain point of time, we forget that. So, at every intervals, Bhagavatam repeats the same thing what has been told earlier, so that the living entity is again brought back into, is awakened. Just like sometimes we are hearing a lecture. Suppose we are sitting in a classroom, we are hearing a lecture. Right? So as the lecture goes on, our eyes drop. Right? We close our eyes. We sleep off. So an expert preacher, he modulates his voice. Hare Krishna. Suddenly, yes sir, I am awake. Right? It's a wake-up call. Devotees have to be waked up. Because we are not by nature very absorbing things to that degree. Whereas Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadev Goswami, they are wonderful couple. That's why Prabhupada keeps stressing, we cannot imitate Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj heard Bhagavatam in 7 days. Day and night he heard Bhagavatam. He got liberated and he went back to Godhead. He achieved highest perfection of life. So many times we do in the material world here, people conduct Bhagavat Saptah, imitating Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadev Goswami. But the point to ask is, are you of the caliber of Parikshit Maharaj, or are you of the caliber of Sutta Goswami, who is the speaker? Neither the speaker is of the caliber of Shukadev Goswami, nor the listener is of the caliber of Parikshit Maharaj. So, this is called pretentious activity. We cannot be a pretender. Anukarana, Anusarana, Prabhupada says. Two aspects are there. Anukarana means what? Pretender. Children will imitate, oh, I am teacher, I am mother, I am father. But do they become like that? We laugh at it. It is entertainment for us when children do like such kind of a thing. Whereas when children, what are they supposed to do? Anusarana, obedient. Children are supposed to be obedient, not simply imitate. So we cannot imitate Parikshit Maharaj, we cannot imitate Shukadev Goswami, we cannot imitate Haridas Thakur, we cannot imitate the Goswamis, we cannot imitate Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We should not do all such kind of things. We have to recognize our position and act accordingly under the directions of our spiritual master. Every devotee has to recognize this. We have to act, we have to recognize and be guided. We cannot be imitator. We have to learn. Living entity is very anxious to become independent, to become free. Sometimes, yes, Prabhu, how long should I do an assistant job? How long should I do always like this? Actually, you forget when you sometimes devotees don't ask this question. Some devotees even ask this question. But okay, even if somebody doesn't ask this question, in their mind it is there, aur kitna saal mujhe aisa hi rakhna? How should I be? But you basically forget the essence of the spiritual life. The spiritual life is Nityera Krishna Das. You are always assistant, Baba. Eternally you are assistant. But the jivas, because of the material nature, the influence of material, he wants to be the Lord. He somehow thinks, just like for example, in the material world, people are waiting. Just like Aurangzeb. He could not wait to become the emperor. Prabhupada gives the example, many Mughal, many Muslim kings, they are anchoring and the father is not dying. So put the father in the jail. They do that. People kill their own father, mother in Kali Yuga for getting wealth, money. Driven by kama, driven by lust, driven by greed. They want to possess. They want to capture. There is no patience. This is for material things. I am talking about material things. For just capturing material things. I cannot wait. So many abominable things people do by when lust overcomes living entity, he will do so many sinful things. All his intelligence has bewildered. Maha Shano Mama Maha Papma Vidyena Meya Vairanam. It is very sinful, driven by Maha Ashanaha. Vindictively he will act for material things. But you see Bhagavatam, what it is talking about in this verse. See the caliber in the material world, how people behave for small things. Prabhupada gives the example, when you go in a train, when you go in a bus, for that they will be traveling for half an hour, 45 minutes in that public bus or public train. How many times we have seen people fight for the seat. मैंने पकड़ा है तू भाग इधर, मैं तुमको नहीं दूंगा. You stand in a queue. Recently I was traveling somewhere. In the aeroplane, all rich people, well-to-do people, educated people, they call themselves like that. And we are standing in the queue. And two people virtually about to hit each other before boarding the aircraft. You broke the queue, you went front. I am standing here. They are fighting like anything. All of us are seeing the tamasha. Aha. You see, for the smallest thing, people, for the smallest material things, people behave so abominably. It has no relevance in our life. What importance does those things have in our life? Doesn't have any importance. Anything. For those material things, we fight like cats and dogs. Just like how dogs will fight, one dog trying to eat from another. If it just looks, the other dog will just look at it ferociously. Human beings have become like that for material things. So inconsequential those things are. It has no relevance, no importance, no significance at all. Whereas what is Bhagavatam talking here? Bhagavatam is talking here, na atyantikam viganayat apite prasadam kin anyad arpita bhayam bruvo unnayaste ye angatvad angri sharana bhavatak kataya kirtanya tirtha yashasah kushala rasagnya. He's saying, people who are very expert and most intelligent in understanding things as they are, engage in hearing narrations of the auspicious activities and pastimes of the Lord, which are worth chanting and worth hearing. They are saying, people, such person do not care even for the highest material benediction, namely liberation, to say nothing of other less benedictions, like material happiness of the heavenly kingdom. One chota seat in the material world, people are fighting like cats and dogs. Here, self-realized souls, they are saying, even if you tell them, I'll take you to Indra Loka, I'll give you a seat there, I'll make you an Indra. I'm not interested, boss. I want to come and attend Bhagavatam class. They're telling, I want to attend Bhagavatam class. Supposing in this world, so many people are there. Come, Bhagavatam class is there, you come here. Nay, Hare, what are you talking here? Supposing you tell, I want to go to Krishna Katha. You have no other business or what? Who goes to Krishna Kathas, man? I'll take you, come, we'll go to the movie, we'll go to the mall, we'll go to the club, we'll go here. What maja we can have. Bhagavatam class, what fun you'll have. See the level of ignorance of people. So much ignorant it is. So foolish people are. When we read the Bhagavatam, we can very clearly make out what is this person's caliber. The other day, I was in Raipur. We were having the meeting. One Dr. Mataji is there. She was telling me, Prabhu, because we had told that let us, for the Janmashtami program, let us invite all the important people and all those kind of people whom we know, let them come to the temple. We will raise funds for the festival and all those things. So she said, Prabhu, one colleague of mine, he is also a big doctor, well-to-do doctor. So she told that doctor, her friend, he is a very sober person, and she felt that he is a very nice person, well-behaved, gentleman kind of a person. So she asked that gentleman, our friend doctor, we are doing Janmashtami. Why don't you also contribute? Why don't you do something? So with a very straight face, he said, I am an atheist. I am an atheist. So she said, Prabhu, I was shocked. See, seemingly, apparently, very well behaved, very gentleman, very nicely behaved, very well to do, everything is nice. But you see, Are Murka, you are saying you are atheist, you don't believe in God. 1 minute, the mouth which you spoke, I am an atheist, Krishna will stop that mouth. You will not be able to utter one word again in your life. One small switch, Krishna switched off. Your doctrine, everything will go like a toss. You will not be able to move even your finger. What you are talking, man? Krishna is saying, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. Maya tadam idam protam sutre manigana iva. This universe, I am just, by a fragment of my energies, I am controlling everything, Baba. And you are so foolishly talking such kind of things. Maya dyakshena prakriti suyate sachara acharam. Everything Krishna is saying, chara achara, moving, non-moving, everything is controlled by me. Dhruva Maharaj, what is he praying? Yo anta pravishtya mama vacham imam prasuptam. Yo anta pravishtya mama vacham imam prasuptam. The words that I am speaking, my dear Lord, I am speaking basically because you have entered me as Paramatma, you are sitting in my body. That is why I am able to speak. You cannot speak if Paramatma is the soul and Paramatma is not within us, we will not be able to utter one word. So Dhruva Maharaj is saying this energy, this strength, yo antapravishtya mama vacham ramam prasupta. Mama vacham, my talking is coming about how? Because antapravishtya, you have seated inside me. So, many people are there, rogues and rascals, Prabhupada used to call them, disguised as gentlemen. There are many rogues and rascals. You will find them. You can never make out. They will be very, very nicely situated. But that is no basis of establishing. You can make out a person when he speaks. Prabhupada says that. When can you recognize people? When they start speaking, you can understand. Oh, acha, iska level ye hai. As soon as he starts opening his mouth, you can make out. Oh, this is this kind of a category person. That's why Prabhupada says, Vayasam tirtaha nayad vachas chitra padam hare yasho jagat pavitram pragranita karyachid. Tad vayasam tirtam ushanti manasa nayatra manasa nayatra hamsa nirmantyusikshayaha. The Bhagavatam in the first canto, what is it saying? Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be a place like the place of pilgrimage for the crows. Since all the perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure from there. Where do the crows go? Which is the favorite place of the crows? Garbage can, dustbin, that is the place of the crows. Right? So Bhagavatam is comparing people who are not engaged in actually glorifying, who are not interested in hearing Krishna Katha, and who are simply engaged in speaking, hearing about worldly things. They are compared to the crows. It has really no relevance. It has no significance, no importance. We discuss so many things. Let us discuss the real thing which will lift us, which will uplift us. That is what is going to give us real benefit for our life. Shrinmatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. By hearing Krishna Katha, all the Vridantasto Yabadhrani Vidunoti Surut Satam, all our dirty things which are accumulated in the heart from many millions of janmas, all that can be removed just by hearing Krishna Katha. These are the powerful words. of Srimad Bhagavatam. How you can come to that level? How you can come to that level of developing an interest? First is Krishna gives the first step that we need to do to achieve that taste, that higher taste, of developing that higher taste. An interest in Krishna. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Vishaya vinivartante, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya deyinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. In the second chapter, Krishna says, first is to restrict yourself. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense objects remain, but ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste is fixed in consciousness. Now we cannot directly imitate the taste for Krishna, like I told in the beginning itself. We cannot imitate Haridas Thakur, we cannot imitate the Gopis, we cannot imitate the Goswamis. All those things we cannot do. We cannot act like how Mahaprabhu used to become mad after Krishna. He would jump into the ocean. He would just beat its head inside the walls of Gambhira walls. All those things we can't do. All those kind of things. So what we should do? Our step is this. Our instruction is this. Vishaya vinivartante. This is where we need to work. Niraharasya deyinaha. Rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva. Prabhupada has given us a roadmap how to practice Krishna consciousness. It's very easy to do it. Just like, for example, we were all like that. We gave up asat sanga tyaga. We gave up asat sanga. We gave up people who are, we had our friends, we had our relatives who are very close to us. We had our friends with whom we partied, we talked all kinds of things. But because we started hearing Krishna Katha, we slowly separated ourselves from them. Because we want to situate ourselves in this life. So, Vishaya vinivartana. With Vishaya people or Vishaya vastu, we have to slowly cut off our association. That is the first step. So, at least initially, we slowly reduced our association with the material activities, and whatever minimum material things are required, only to that extent we were practicing Krishna consciousness. Then we took the next step. We started chanting. We started reading. We started eating controlled way. What is controlled way? We said, okay, we'll eat only prasadam. We will not eat food. Then before even coming to prasadam stage, we said that first we will give up non-veg. Then we said, okay, we'll give up onion, garlic also. Then we said, no, food is, even if it is so, we have to first offer the food that we have to eat. And then we took baby steps towards moving towards higher levels of Krishna consciousness. And then when you meet, see, to associate with pure devotees also, you also have to be pure. Otherwise, pure devotees also will not. Of course, pure devotees like Prabhupada, they are so benevolent, they are so kind, they are so compassionate that they would go with even the worst mlechas and engage them in Krishna consciousness. But not all devotees are that level. Like supposing if I go and meet all these kind of mlechas, instead of me making them devotee, I will also become mlecha. I am 100% sure. We don't have that ability. That's why Prabhupada used to say, first protect yourself, then you try to save others. Right? We cannot save others until and unless we are protected. So, if Prabhupada has given us an opportunity to associate, we can hear when we meet devotees, we discuss Krishna Katha. We discuss. And various levels of devotees are there. Even with with a neophyte devotee also we can talk Krishna Katha, because that neophyte devotee is also going to talk what Prabhupada has said. As long as he is not envious or wants to become a guru, that's different. But otherwise, we can always discuss with the devotee also. Any devotee, any whatever level. Of course, if you have association of pure devotees, then the effect is different. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti rit karna rasayana kata tad joshanad as apagvargya vatmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishyati. In the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin. Real devotion and devotional service begins when we get association of a pure devotee. That is when real devotional service begins. Prabhupada in this purport says, the process of advancing in Krishna consciousness and devotional service is described here. The first point is that one must seek the association of persons who are Krishna conscious and who engage in devotional service. Without such association, one cannot make advancement. Simply by theoretical knowledge or study, one cannot make any appreciable advancement. One must give up the association of materialistic persons and seek the association of devotees, because without the association of devotees, one cannot understand the activities of the Lord. Generally, people are convinced of the impersonal feature of the absolute truth because they do not associate with devotees. They cannot understand that the absolute truth can be a person and have personal activities. This is a very difficult subject matter, and unless one has personal understanding of the absolute truth, there is no meaning to devotion. Service or devotion cannot be offered to anything impersonal. Service must be offered to a person. Non-devotees cannot appreciate Krishna consciousness by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam or any other Vedic literature wherein the activities of the Lord are described. They think that these activities are fictional, manufactured stories because spiritual life is not explained to them in the proper mood. To understand the personal activities of the Lord, one has to seek the association of devotees, and by such association, when one contemplates and tries to understand the transcendental activities of the Lord, the path to liberation is open and he is freed. One who has firm faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes fixed, and his attraction for association with the Lord and devotees increases. Association with devotee means association with the Lord. The devotee means, association with devotee means association with the Lord. It's direct association. Very, very important. Association with the devotee means association with the Lord. Prabhupada is saying here. We take it very lightly. Chalta hai. The devotee who makes this association develops the consciousness for rendering service to the Lord, and then being situated in the transcendental position of devotional service, he gradually becomes perfect. And by devotional service, one can purify himself. In the Bhagavatam canto it says, Bhaktyaham ekayah grayah. 11th canto it says, Shraddayatma priyam satam bhakti punati mam nishta swapakan abhi sambhavat. Bhaktyaham ekayah grayah. Only by practicing unalloyed devotional service with full faith in me can one obtain me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am naturally dear to my devotees who take me as the only goal of their loving service. By engaging in such pure devotional service, even the dog eaters can purify themselves from the contamination of their low birth. Even the dog eaters can become highest just by Swapakan api sambhavat. Bhakti punati mam nishta swapakan api sambhavat. Swapakan. Swapakan matlab shwa. Shvanu means dogs. Pakan, who eats. They can also be, they can raise themselves to the highest level. How? Ekaya bhaktya grayan. By serving Krishna. By serving Krishna's devotee. By serving Krishna's devotee's mission. Devotee's mission and Krishna's mission is non-different, it's the same. Essence of bhakti is this. Any activity in connection with Krishna is absolute, it is not relative. Mayavadis cannot understand this at all. For them, activities means problem. They cannot see, oh, business they are doing in the temple. Oh, they are collecting money. Oh, they are driving car. So foolish. They cannot see the difference. Oh, what is this? Devotees. Somebody recently told me, Bhagavatam class you are giving in English. How can you give in English? Who cares, yaar? We'll give in English, we'll give in Hindi, we'll give in any language. We'll give in Chinese. No problem. Doesn't matter, all these things. Just like there are munis, there's Jain munis and all. They'll walk. No. Aeroplane, that is boga. You should not do. Prabhupada says, use aeroplane, go fast. We have to preach their Krishna consciousness. Money is not, go make money. We want more Lakshmi. In ordinary spiritual understanding, my God, these people are bogies. They have no concept of spirituality. For us, spirituality is what? Spirituality is connection with Krishna. Money is not the problem. Aeroplane is not the problem. Language is not the problem. As long as it is used in service of Krishna. That is the differentiator. Whereas, you reject money, you reject everything. But if Krishna is not there, what is the use of that activity? It has no meaning at all. It is very dry renunciation. It will not last long. That's why Mayavadi has to come down to this material world. They say activity, no, activity is material. Then why are you opening hospitals? Mahavir Jain Hospital. You're opening hospital. Hospital is activity. After material body, no? Why you should do hospital? This is the basic funda. We'll stop here. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.